සිංහල රසට ඔස්ට්‍රේලියන් තාලෙට කන්න පුළුවන් රෙස්ටුරන්ට් එකක් හොයාගෙන මේ රෙස්ටුරන්ට් එක තියෙන්නේ බ්‍රිස්බන් වල ඉඳලා පැයකමාරක් විතර එහා නූසා හෙඩ්ස් වල. ඉතින් කියන්න ආඩම්බරයි මේකේ අයිතිකාරු සහ ප්‍රධාන සූපවේදියා ශ්‍රී ලාංකිකයෙක්. ඉතින් අපි මේ ලෝකෙ කොයි රටේ ජීවත් වුණත් අපේ ඇඟිල්ල දුවන්නේ සිංහල ලේනේ. ඉතින් අපි සිංහල කෑම වලට ආස නිසා අද අපි ඩිනර් එක ගන්න ආවේ ශ්‍රී ලාංකීය රෙස්ටුරන්ට් එකකට.
Hi, I'm Kuruvita, owner of Noosa Beach House. Welcome.
Hi Peter.
Hi.
So why did you decide to become a chef?
It was a long time ago now, but there's a bit. I think like all Sri Lankans, there's cooking is part of it. Like it's not just something you do, and food.
Yeah.
But when we came to Australia in 1974. And it was a very hard time to be in Australia, and it was very different to what it is now. It's a very wild place. But anyway, school was hard for me, and I did it. One of the classes I did at school was home science or cooking, and I really liked it.
Yeah.
So then when I left school, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, and my father suggested I go to a restaurant and ask for a job. So when I went in there, I had an amazing first day of the job, and I've been doing it ever since. So I think after 43 years, why am I a chef? I enjoy the excitement. I enjoy ingredients changing all the time and finding new ingredients. I enjoy working with different people. It's not like an office job. Every minute of the day is very different. And I've travelled. I've done so many things with it. So it's been a great job to have and a great career to have. That happened a long time ago, probably around 1985, 1986. So I started my apprenticeship in 1979. I did my apprenticeship, then I went overseas and I worked in London. And all of us in those days were taught French. That was the basics, your basic French cuisine. So when I went to Europe, I did the same thing, did French cuisine. And then when I came back, I worked for a chef called Neil Perry. A lot of people know Neil Perry. He's been in the business maybe 10 years more than me. He's just retired, and he ran lots of very successful restaurants. But I opened with him one of the first restaurants called Rockpool in Bondi Beach. Yeah. And when I did, he started putting on all this Asian food. And it was the first time I really saw Asian food being cooked in a modern environment. Right, and in a, because when everyone else was doing French, and so that's when I got thinking, well, maybe I need to be unique. I need to be able to create food that no one else is doing, and lean on my heritage. So from that day onwards, I started trying to incorporate ingredients, Sri Lankan ingredients into the food. That was the start. Then from there, started taking real Sri Lankan dishes, and Sri Lankan food's like Mexican food. It tastes really good, but it looks terrible on the plate. Right? It's a curry is a wet dish, and you've got rice, and that's it.
Yeah.
So the challenge was how to make those beautiful flavors be in an environment like this. So that was the next stage. That was the next stage of then starting to create dishes that were authentic in flavor, but plated in a modern way. And so the culmination of that really, when I really first started doing it seriously, was about 2003, just after the tsunami, we opened a restaurant in Sydney called Flying Fish.
Flying fish.
And there was a restaurant across the road which had very famous for its snapper pie. And everybody in Sydney talked about this snapper pie. So I thought, okay, if we're going to come open up right next to these guys, we have to have a dish that is just as popular or more. And that's where my Sri Lankan snapper curry came in. So basically that dish is, and you know, if you think about a curry, you put all the ingredients together and boil it. The quality of the seafood in Australia is so good. I didn't want to flavour it with the food, with the gravy. So I cooked the fish separately, and it's still done today. The fish is cooked separately, all the condiments are done separately, and the sauce is made separately. And then at the table, the waiter pours it together. And you end up with a very authentic, flavoured, modern plated Sri Lankan dish. So from there now I go, you know, I do it. It just never stops. But until last Sunday, we did a 5-pot curry lunch, and that was where we did 5 authentic Sri Lankan curries in a bowl with rice and nalum and all the rest of it. So, and people love that because I really, you know, people always considered Sri Lankan food the same as Indian. And it took a long time to do that. I think my TV show in 2008 brought that to the world, where a lot of people around the world went, hang on, Sri Lanka looks different to India. I take people on tours, not this year, but for the last 10 or 12 years, twice a year, once to the south, once to the north, I take culinary tours. And one of the first things that people say when they put Sri Lankan food in their mouth is, oh, I thought it tastes like Indian. So now, I mean, somebody just sent me a message that a little girl on MasterChef had done a Sri Lankan potato curry. Now everyone's doing it. Now it's becoming one of the cuisines of the world. Before it used to be under the umbrella of Indian food. So I think Sri Lankan food now has finally come out and it is sitting by itself as a unique cuisine.